Once upon a time, in a big city full of people, lived two best friends. Their names were Kai and Gerda. Their houses were so close that the roofs almost touched. Between the roofs was a magical garden full of vegetables and beautiful roses. The roses grew tall and wild, twisting together like a fragrant archway. Kai and Gerda sat under the roses, reading stories and singing songs. They were perfectly happy, and it was always summer in their hearts. But one day, the seasons began to change. Winter arrived early. The windows froze over. Outside, the snow swirled like a swarm of white bees. Look at them swarm. Do they have a queen bee? They do. She flies where the swarm is thickest. She is the Snow Queen. That night, Kai peeked out through the frozen glass. Suddenly, a snowflake grew larger and larger, turning into a woman made of ice. Her eyes shone like stars, but there was no warmth. She waved at Kai. Kai was frightened and jumped back. The next day, a wicked wind blew the window open, carrying magical dust. It was not ordinary dust, but a cursed spell from the north. Before Kai could blink, a speck flew into his eye, and another speck settled right in his heart. But the dust froze his feelings. His heart turned into a lump of ice. "Don't touch me. You look so ugly when you cry." He ran to the garden and kicked the rose box. He tore the beautiful flowers apart. One snowy day, Kai took his sled to the big square to play alone. Suddenly, a magnificent white sleigh appeared. The driver was the Snow Queen, wrapped in white fur. Kai boldly tied his little sled to the great sleigh. They went faster and faster, right out of the city gates. The Snow Queen pulled Kai into her sleigh and wrapped him in her coat. She kissed him on the forehead. Her kiss was colder than ice. It made Kai forget Gerda and his home. They flew up into the black cloud. Back home, winter passed, and the spring sun returned. Gerda waited and waited, but Kai did not return. "Kai is not dead. I will find him." She put on her new red shoes and went to the river. She threw her precious shoes into the water as a gift. "River, have you taken my playmate? Take these, but give him back." A small boat carried her far away, past trees and old houses. Finally, she reached a strange cottage with red and blue windows. An old woman came out. She wore a sun hat painted with flowers. "You poor little child. Come in." The old woman was a sorceress. She wanted a little girl of her own. She combed Gerda's hair with a golden comb. As she combed, Gerda began to forget Kai and her journey. Fearing the roses would remind Gerda of home, the old woman waved her wand. All the rose bushes sank deep underground. Gerda played in the magic garden where the sun always shone. But one day she saw the old woman's sun hat. Painted right in the center was a red rose. Gerda remembered everything. Roses. Where are the roses? She searched the garden, but found none. She sat down and wept. Her hot tears fell onto the ground. Where her tears fell, a rose bush sprang up, blooming and fresh. Gerda kissed the roses. "Oh, Kai, I have wasted so much time." She ran to the garden gate. It was locked, but she pushed the rusty latch until it sprang open. Outside, the summer was gone. It was late autumn, cold and gray. Gerda ran out into the world with bare feet. Her little feet were tired and sore, but she had to go on. The dark forest lay ahead. Gerda walked through a dark forest where the trees were covered in ice. Suddenly, a band of robbers burst forth from the shadows. "She shall not be hurt. She shall play with me." She took Gerda to her cave to be her friend. Inside the cave, a fire burned brightly. High up, wood pigeons cooed in their cages, and a large reindeer was tied to the wall. That night, the pigeons spoke to Gerda. "We have seen little Kai. He was with the Snow Queen." Gerda gasped. "Where did they go? Please tell me." The reindeer spoke with a deep voice. "She went to Lapland. Her palace is near the North Pole." The robber girl heard everything. She looked at Gerda's sad face. Her heart softened. She cut the reindeer's rope. "Take this girl to Lapland. Hurry. Thank you. Goodbye." They raced north, faster than the wind. Night fell, but the sky lit up with magical colors. The aurora borealis flickered blue and violet. They ran deep into the frozen north, over mountains and frozen lakes. Finally, they reached the Snow Queen's palace. The reindeer stopped. He could go no further. Gerda stood alone in the snow. The reindeer nudged her gently. "You must go alone now. Your power is in your heart." The walls were made of driven snow and cutting winds. Gerda stepped into the cold darkness. The winds tried to stop her, forming icy monsters. But Gerda was brave. Her warm breath fought back the cold. She marched forward, straight towards the center. The great hall was empty and freezing. In the middle sat Kai, frozen and still. Gerda had found him at last. Kai was blue with cold, almost black, but he did not know it. He was playing with sharp pieces of ice, trying to make words spell the word eternity, and you shall be free. But his heart was a lump of ice. He could not find the word. Gerda saw him. She knew him instantly. "Kai, little Kai?" She flew to him and threw her arms around his neck. She held him tight, though he was as cold as a stone. "I have found you." Kai sat still, stiff and silent. Then Gerda wept hot, burning tears. Her tears fell upon his chest and reached his heart. They melted the lump of ice and washed away the cursed dust. Kai looked at her. The warmth began to return. He burst into tears. The grain of dust rolled out of his eye with his tears. He knew her and shouted for joy. "Dear little Gerda, where have you been?" He looked around the vast, empty hall. They hugged and laughed. It was so beautiful. Even the pieces of ice danced for joy and formed the word eternity. Kai was free. They walked out of the palace hand in hand. The reindeer was waiting for them. They traveled back, leaving the cold behind. As they walked south, the spring green appeared. "Woohoo! See you next time." Flowers bloomed under their feet. They recognized the high towers of their own city. They went straight to the grandmother's room. Everything was exactly the same. The clock said tick-tock. But they noticed that they were no longer children. They had grown up. The rose bushes were covered with beautiful red blossoms. They were grown up, yet in their hearts they were still children, and it was summer.